Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Tyler here, bringing you some more Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 gameplay. We will have some ranked play action mixed in with, some talk about the CDL. Of course, we usually do a couple of videos of this a week, where, I wrap up previous week, and then I already did that a few days ago, and today we will be previewing Week 3 of Stage 5 online qualifiers. And this is actually the last weekend of online matches of the year. It's kind of wild that the end is finally here. But yeah, like I said, some ranked play will be mixed in the background. Probably just a couple gameplays mixed in there. I will mention real quick, somebody did mention it in the comments of the last one. The motion blur was on. So my apologies for that, man. I know it's kind of tough to see motion blur sometimes. I usually always have this turned off. But this gameplay is from a couple months ago, so thinking back, I remember what happened. There was an update, right? And after the update, what happened was it automatically somehow turned my motion blur back on. But I didn't notice this at the time. I thought the game was just bugging out, you know what I'm saying? I thought it was just typical, buggy game, the game stinks, whatever, yada yada. But I just didn't think to take, a few seconds to go check my settings and turn it back off. I just thought the game was bugging out. But yeah, so just quick apologies for that if the motion blur does bother you too much. But it'll just be, a couple games mixed in. Mostly we'll be seeing screenshots of standings and my pick'em predictions and whatnot, of course. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and get right into it, man. Before I get into my predictions, I do want to go over the standings right now. First, we will look at the online qualifier standings for this specific major. Throw them up on the screen now. Of course, Optic leading the way, man, 4-0. Just one more match this upcoming weekend. They will more than likely be the number 1 seed. They definitely will probably finish 5-0 for the second straight split. Just like I mentioned in the video the other day, man, they got to translate that to LAN, man. Stop getting second, man. Got to get to that grand finals, get over the hump, and get that victory. But either way, they continue to show that they are one of the best teams, most dominant teams in the game right now. They're followed up by FaZe and Toronto and Boston to round out the top 4. And then you see New York, Florida, Vegas, Rocker, and then Surge, LAG, LAT, and London in the bottom 4. So remember, the bottom 4 do start in losers bracket. So this is going to be a big time weekend for some of these teams, especially for the ones that are in the champs race. Of course, that's one of the main topics I want to get at today, because these matches are big time for sure. They really, really matter. So I will probably go back and forth between a couple different graphics. Of course, we have these standings, and then of course the standings for the entire regular season. But yeah, so like I said, top 8, of course, here we'll make winners bracket. And for teams that want to make champs like Vegas and Rocker, they really, really need to push to finish this weekend strong anyway, so that way they can stay in this winners bracket, of course. Vegas, they only have one more match. Rocker has a couple, and Rockers are pretty tough, man. So they do play LAT, which, LAT is struggling right now, 0-3 in this split, and they also play Toronto. So 2 very tough matches for Rockers. So personally, I don't see them being able to stay in that 8 spot to start in winners. So Vegas should be able to get the edge here and start in winners. So that way, you're able to get a loss and still be alive at the major. I will mention that Vegas, with their only one matchup, it is against Seattle, so that's actually a tough one as well. Seattle was struggling this split also, but then last weekend they were able to show up and beat Boston, which actually surprised me. But they looked good, man. So we'll see what type of Seattle team shows up this weekend, as they are also fighting to get in the winners bracket as well. They have a couple matchups against New York and Vegas, like I just mentioned, so a couple tough ones for them as well, man. LAG, you can pretty much count them out, and as well as London, those 2 teams I definitely would lock in to the losers bracket. Florida, they're 2-1, looking really well this split. They actually technically aren't eliminated from champs yet, But I will tell you how difficult it is. Basically, they'll have to win out and win the major. And I will go over real quickly how the points work at the major. Of course, for the online matches, it's just 10 points per win, of course. When you look at the major, though, I believe 65 points. Yep, 65 points go to the team that win the major, and then 50 go to the second place team, 40 to third place, 30 to fourth. And if you get the fifth, sixth, top six spot, that's 20 points, and then top eight, so seventh, eighth tie, however you want to look at it, that'll be 10 points. And then if you don't make it out of losers, that's 9th through 12th, of course, you get nothing, no points. So that's why it's big time for teams like Vegas and Rocker to get in this winner's bracket to try to ensure as many chances to advance in this major, so that way they get as many points as they can to get in that champ spot, man. We'll go ahead and continue on here. Like I was saying with Florida, man, their chances to make it are very tough. Like I just told you, 65 points go to the major winner, 50 to second place. So technically they don't have to win, but they'd have to get second. Also win both of their last matchups of these online qualifiers this weekend, and then they would have to hope for like Vegas and Rocker both to completely lose out, which is very highly unlikely, but it's a possibility. So I just had to throw that out there, of course. I'll throw up the full regular season standings as well here. As you can see, LAG and London at the bottom are definitely eliminated. They have zero shot of making it. But yeah, Vegas 10 points behind Rocker. I do believe Rocker will lose both their matches this weekend. I do have Vegas winning, so we're looking at a possibility of both teams being at 160 points going into the major. So at that point, the placements will be big time, and with my predictions, I would have Vegas starting in winners and Rocker starting in losers, which advantage to Vegas there, of course. I definitely would like to see Vegas make it over Rocker. And that actually I just randomly remembered. I don't know. I should have probably started with this, but Rocker. How about the roster change, fellas? Well, ladies and fellas, whoever you are. But Rocker, man, I don't understand what they're doing. I love seeing Attach back on the team, but sending Afro to the bench is absolutely insane. Now, if you go off recency bias, of course, he did not have a good series last weekend against Vegas, and Bance actually looked pretty solid. But overall on the year, Afro, I think, has been the most impactful player on this team. And if anything, I think Bance is the one that probably should have been sent to the bench. And if not him, then it should have been Fame. Bringing Fame in and then switching him to an AR role was just weird to begin with. He's the SMG player, and they brought him in to run the AR. And it just didn't make much sense, and they just did not look good. They haven't looked good, man. Online, they've been terrible the last few months, or last couple at least. They only do well like at the LANs. They usually will get a couple victories at the majors and whatnot, and then of course they had their couple of home series where they look solid. But the pure online matchups, they've been terrible the last couple months, man. But I love seeing Attach back. Like I said, I just think it should have been either Fame or Bance going to the bench. I don't hate, getting Fame on his actual SMG role now, but it's like, man, you just threw like the last month or two out the window, basically, as you had him completely switching up his role, and I don't know. It's a very odd situation. Afro definitely should be starting for this team. I don't agree with this move at all whatsoever. Not that Attach is back. Attach should be in the starting lineup, but Afro being the one to go to the bench is totally incorrect. Makes no sense. And it's just too little too late, man. You're making this change going into the final week of online qualifiers. Like, I don't know. It's just not enough time to figure it out, man. It's going to be tough, dude. It's going to be tough for them to make a move there. But now that we covered that, we'll go back over to the standings and whatnot. Like I said, I think Rocker lose both matchups. Vegas takes their victory, and they go into the major tied at 160. Now, also, I do have Seattle losing both of their matchups. I'll probably flash my pick'em predictions up as well, so you kind of understand the layout of, what these teams have to do. Seattle, I have them losing to both New York and Vegas this weekend. So that would have them starting in losers, as they're ninth right now at 1-2. That'd have them finishing 1-4. And even if they find a way to get a victory in one of those, it'll put them at 2-3. Now, I do believe that there will be at least one 2-3 team in the winners bracket. They'll probably be the 8 seed, with the rest of the 7, all having 3 or 4 or even 5 wins possibly for Optic. But yeah, Seattle, man, they're not that far ahead either. So if my predictions are right with them losing both and they start in losers, and who knows who they draw in the first round of losers at the major, man, they could get knocked out early and not gain any more points. They're at 190 right now. So if Vegas show up like I think and hope they will, and then say Rocker shows up as well, we could end up seeing both Rocker and Legion make champs and then Surge drop out. I mean, I don't think that it'll happen, and I do like Seattle, man. I like Pred and Sib, of course, and accuracy. So we'll see what happens, but disaster could strike and Surge could drop out. Do I think it'll happen? No, probably not, man. Especially if I have Rocker finishing or starting anyways in losers bracket for this major. There's a good chance that they don't make it far at all. So yeah, there's a lot of different scenarios that could happen. Even Boston at 180 if they don't show up at the major, which I personally am hoping that they don't show up, because I just don't like them, man. They're online EQ warriors. They keep changing their roster left and right. Every other week it seems like they're trying a different 4, and it just doesn't seem to work out, man. Their team is just full of slayers, man. They do a great job of getting kills, but they don't know what to do once they get those kills, it seems like. Like, I've seen so many respawn maps where they outslay the other team and lose, and half the time it's actually not close, even though they outslay the other team. It's kind of insane to watch. They all got great gun skill and whatnot, but it's like, converting that into wins just hasn't happened for them. And Boston, I have actually losing twice as well this weekend. 2 winnable matchups, I think, though, against FaZe and New York, but I have them losing both of them. So even they could possibly start down in losers. There's so much that could happen this weekend, man. I mean, it's insane how much this, the 4 to 10 spots will change. Like, even Thieves at 0-3, if they come out and slam both these matchups and finish 2-3, they could end up having the better map count to possibly get that 8 spot. Like I said, I think we'll see 1, 2, and 3 team make winners bracket for this major. So yeah, there's just so many different scenarios that could play out here. Like I said, man, Boston, they're only at 180 points on the season as well. So if they have a blender, if they find a way to start in losers, even if they split these matchups this weekend and end up starting in winners, depending on the matchup, they could get double first rounded. That's what I'm rooting for, honestly. Like, in my world, I would actually like to see Boston not make it and see both Rocker and Vegas make it. Probably unlikely, but you never know, man. I'm just trying to let y'all know how many crazy scenarios could play out here. And this is what I wanted, man. I want chaos. This is awesome to see. Ultimately, as long as Vegas get in, however it happens, I'd like to see Vegas in, man. Clay deserves it, dude. 31 years old, is still going strong. That dude's a beast. But yeah, we'll just go over the rest of my pick'ems to wrap things up here, man. But yeah, starting Friday, 3-1, I got Florida over London. I may change this, like I always say. Follow my Twitter, which is linked down in the description, if you even follow my pick'ems at all. But I always will tweet out if I make changes to these. I wish they didn't all lock, man, at 3 o'clock Eastern time, that is, of course, which is when the first match starts. Because the map sets really help me kind of determine which way I want to go with the map counts and whatnot. But we should have it out for the Florida-London series. There is a chance they 3-0 them. I'm giving London the benefit of the doubt right now that they take one map at least. But depending on the map set, I may change this. But yeah. Thieves, I think, get back on track here. I got them 3-2 over Rocker. They actually have beat Rocker every time this year. And they 3-0'd them, I think, 4 or 5 times until the last matchup when Rocker was able to get one map on them. Either way, Thieves still got the victory. They have not lost to Rocker once this year. But I will have it going the distance since Thieves has looked so rough this online stage, which is very surprising to me. But I think they will figure it out, man. And then wrapping up Friday night, Should be a good one, man. New York 3-2 over Seattle is what I got. Yeah, New York's pretty much solid to make winners here, winners bracket for Major 5, as long as they don't lose both of these matchups, which I find it hard to believe. If anything, they might split them, but I got them 3-2 over Seattle. And then Seattle starts the day Saturday. That's kind of a weird turnaround. We've seen this a couple times the last couple of weeks where teams will be the last matchup one day and then the first matchup the next day, which I just don't think that should be how it is. But either way, moving forward, Vegas, I got 3-2 over Seattle. They need that win to secure winners. Now remember, if they lose, they'd finish 2-3 in the split. And a 2-3 team is more than likely to be in winner's bracket and that 8 spot. But then that means you would just have to play Optic round 1, so good luck. Anyways, speaking of Optic, I got them 3-1 here in their final match of this online split. 3-1 over Florida, man. Optic should get the job done. I will give Florida a map, whether it's a SND or the control. Florida trolls way too many rotations and hard points for them to get that done, so per usual, I have Optic taking both hard points, and they get the job done 3-1 over Florida. And then I applied my last double points boost of this split to the Toronto versus LAG matchup. I got Toronto slamming them 3-0, man. This is going to be a quick one. And then rounding out Saturday night, I got FaZe 3-2 over Boston. This, I think, will be a very, very good series. I just don't see Boston beating FaZe in Search, though. So basically, as long as FaZe can clutch up in one of the hard points or the control, they should be able to win this series. And then moving into Sunday, we got Toronto 3-1 over Rocker. This matchup could be closer than we think, and of course we'll know more about the placings, seedings, and whatnot going forward after we get through Friday and Saturday, so I may update this. Of course, it's the first match of the day, so map set might also change my prediction as well, but right now I'm going Toronto 3-1. So yeah, Rocker, if they lose Friday and Vegas wins Saturday, then Rocker will probably be more motivated to get that dub. I mean, they should be motivated regardless, but it'll just be more needed, of course, at that point. But yeah, then we got Thieves 3-0 over London. They should slam them. Of course, I thought the same thing when FaZe took on London last week, and London was able to take the control, and that was a 3-1 series. Of course, FaZe and LAT are in two different ballparks when it comes to control, so I don't see that happening here. LAT get the job done 3-0. And then rounding out the final online matchup of the season, we got New York 3-1 over Boston. New York, man, I said last time, you never know what New York team's going to show up, but it seems like, honestly, lately, they've been back to their full form, and they've been consistent again. Consistent enough, at least, for me to take them to win both their matchups this weekend. Got them 3-1 over Boston. But yeah, man, that's going to wrap up my pick'em predictions for Week 3, the final online weekend of this season. So yeah, I hope you guys do enjoy the rest of the gameplay, of course. Don't know how much I'll have, just like I said earlier, a couple matches of ranked play mixed in. But yeah, comment your thoughts on my predictions, how the standings are going to play out. I mean, we're in for an insane end of the season here to see who makes champs, which is awesome, man. It's fun to watch. Gotta love it. But yeah, comment your thoughts below. Slap that like button. I'd appreciate that a lot. And also subscribe if you are new. And have a nice day. Peace.
Oh, he's weak.
Yeah, get in here, boys. Get in here.
One coming from the side.
Good shit, boys.
Left side.
I get 31. Watch.
Enemy target from the hard point.
You gotta get him.
I got one.
Hardpoint compromised. Secure the area.
Yeah, buddy. That's how it's done.
Mission complete.
Stump with 253 on point. That's how you play your role. I love that shit.
Dude, I fucking couldn't get there. How much did I get? 47. Hey, that's pretty fucking,
Hey, but that's the thing.
I
This is how it should be, though. It shouldn't be everybody shouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? Other people got to be out there ratting, holding angles.
Yeah, that's what I tried.
That's
to
what
do,
I'm
man.
playing right now.
Those guys were good, man.
When I play AR and hardpoint, I hold angles and anchor spawns.